Hey, you're listening to Smoke Meat. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat's brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia. Great place to go. Always go in, meet new friends, hang out with some old ones. Just always have a good time when you go. Remember, I goes to Joe's and so should you. Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Today, I have such a great guest. I have Mr. Bill Hillman. He has produced some of the most wonderful movies. Remember Quigley? Talking to him a little bit about his newer movie that's coming up, Get Her. And we just had a good old time today. So everybody just kick back and listen and have a great time here on Smoked Meat. Hey, so how you doing today, Bill?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Any better? I'd be twins. Oh yeah. But I've been doing a little bit of my homework here, and looks like you've been a pretty busy guy for just a minute or two, anyway.
Yeah, just a minute or two.
Yeah. You do a little bit of everything, don't you? I mean, you write, you act, you name it, you do it.
Well, I tried. I started as an actor, and I realized after doing a few films that a little television that it's kind of hard to you get bored sitting waiting for the shots and waiting for the camera and waiting for makeup. And so I kind of stepped behind the camera and learned how to make movies in a strange way. And I was working on Ice Station Zebra as an actor. It was 19 weeks, which was a fun gig,
Yeah.
but dreadfully boring in between. I mean, hours and sometimes days between shots. And I befriended Rock Hudson, introduced me to Ferris Webster, who was the editor on the picture. And he gave me $1 million worth of education in a few hours of time. And I became a production assistant on the film, which was kind of fun. I was an actor and a production assistant. Learned more as a production assistant than I did as an actor. So I grew from there and made my first movie after that. Used half the guys I was working on the film with in the film, and came out okay.
Very cool. But
I like to do different stuff, family stuff, genres, thrillers.
yeah, I've seen the Quigley films, and those look like they were a lot of fun.
They were a lot of fun. Gary Busey was a kick in the butt to work with, and before that, I did The Adventures of Ragtime with Shelley Long and Jay Thomas and a horse. Of course, I seem to get stuck with animals frequently.
Yeah, the animal magnetism.
Yeah, that's what they keep telling me. But now I'm trying to aim into a different kind of territory. So, but that's what the business is all about. I love to do different genres rather than get stuck doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, you got to evolve.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. As a writer, I like to write a whole lot of different kind of things. As a director, the same thing. I find if I do the same thing over again, it gets boring a little bit.
Yeah.
When you produce alone, you just produce, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I imagine it was definitely interesting. Which was more difficult to work with, the animals or Busey?
Oh, that's a tough question.
It's funny. I've heard good and bad about him, but he is just one of my favorite people in the world, man. I love him.
Well, the irony of Gary is you argue, you get into not a fist fight, but you get into a heated argument, and then he steps out of the trailer and he's a whole different guy, and he's an actor, and he takes the thing seriously. But you put him back in the trailer, and he becomes this different person. I remember the first time I met him, he was sitting in his Malibu house, and he got up on a balcony, and I'm looking over the balcony, and it's like a 300-foot drop down that cliff. And he's sitting up there just twiddling his legs and just having a heck of a good time. Wasn't drunk, wasn't high, wasn't on anything. He was just Gary.
Yeah.
After that, I got a buzz out of everything he did. So
Yeah. Like I say, he just seems like he would be so much fun, just the roller coaster ride anyway.
Well, he's giving you the roller coaster ride, but he is fun too. And with him, what it did is it turned that little movie into one of the top 20 children family movies of all time. So
Yeah.
we're pretty proud of that.
Yeah. I don't blame you a bit, man. Because it's anybody can put something out. I mean, with cell phones today, I mean, hell, I can make a movie right now that okay, I can have it out in 30 minutes, but to put out something that's good and something that lasts and stands the test of time, whole nother ball game.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I have two of those. My very first movie, right after I finished Zebra,
Mm-hmm.
I made a picture called The Man from Clover Grove, and it was it's still in release. We made the movie for 45 grand, and it was an all union, all shoot, all SAG, all Directors Guild,
Mm-hmm.
Writers Guild. Had a full union crew. I made deals with all the unions. They laughed when I went in and told them what I wanted to do, and we brought it in for 47.5 and all in, delivered to the distributor, and it went out and made a whole bunch of money. Then it went off the market for a long time, changed hands with distributors and stuff. Finally, one of them went broke, and I recaptured it, got it back, redigitized it, and now it's back on Amazon again, which is a kick in the butt.
Nice. Nice. I'm loving Amazon right now between them and Netflix and Tubi's showing a lot of older stuff also and Crackle and because of this pandemic, when I'm not recording or working on ambulance, I'm usually watching movies and
Well, I guess we all are. We got a homebound. It's the Man from Clover Grove, which is the movie I was talking about, which stars Rosemarie and Richard Deacon and Paul Winchell and Stu Gillum and Joe Higgins and Ron Masak and Jed Allen. And I mean, it just had just this cast of TV personalities that everybody knew. And it's still playing. And amazingly, people are now a whole different generation of kids are watching it. It's typical 70s humor, so it's kind of corny, but
hey,
nonetheless, kids even today get a kick out of it. So I guess it works.
yeah,
It's kind of fun to look back on it.
I love the 70s. That was, I was born in 71, so I was a kid during the 70s, and I loved it.
Yeah,
Everybody pans the 70s and says they were cheesy. I love the 70s. I mean,
yeah, I did too.
how could
I
you
did
not
too.
love it? We had the Evil Knievel stunt cycle, for God's sake. Best toy ever.
Yeah, yeah. He now there was a character.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
he was a full blown character. He was represented by my agency. So I had the pleasure of meeting him several times, and he was talk about nutty. And there was a nut. The guy was just sweetest man in the world, but had to be the craziest guy I ever met.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing. He wasn't afraid of nothing. It was just bizarre.
Yeah, and everything I've ever heard is what you saw is what you got. You always knew where you stood with him.
Yeah,
And
when he got mad, he got mad, and when he was sweet, he was the sweetest guy in the world.
yeah.
He had a temper, he really did, but he was a perfectionist, and that's what created the temper.
Mm-hmm.
If people questioned his, he'd come up with a plan, he'd say, "I want to do this," and if it's some dope was crazy enough to say, "You can't do that," whoop, that did that. It was like a little firecracker went off.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he was truly a gentleman and a sweet, sweet human being. He was a nice guy. I liked him a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I miss having souls like that around a lot of times because I remember just when Wide World of Sports would come on the weekends, every once in a while we'd find out Evil Knievel's going to jump on here today. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man. And we were so excited. I mean, we could be doing anything in the world outside, find out that song, boom, we're
Yep.
nailed in front of the TV.
Yeah. There's not too many people today that do that and have that magnetic personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're missing that actually, and that's I guess why I chose Alessandro Fulcetti to star in Get Her. I'm under the belief that I think I created or found a guy that can become a star, a real star.
I do too.
Um,
I spoke with Alessandro about 3 or 4 hours ago,
oh, good.
and
Okay, so you had the pleasure of meeting him, and He's got magnetism. There's something very special about him, and I'm looking forward to. We've been friends for years, but haven't had the pleasure of directing him. And I kept watching him and looking at him and seeing film on it. I thought, wow, here's a guy that could be a star.
Yeah.
So I wrote a script and I discussed it with him. We kind of collaborated over a few things, and he fell in love with the script. And now we're on the verge of getting it together. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And what's really neat is I only live about 20 minutes from him.
Oh, really? Is that right?
Yeah.
It's a small world.
Yeah, definitely.
When I get down your way, I'll have to stop in and say hello.
Yeah. And hey, when you get down here, y'all are getting fed. Because, I cook. I cook anything. So I make it a point. I want to feed my people.
There we go. Well, I have an appetite to take care of that.
Oh, man, what's your favorite thing?
Chicken and dumplings probably is at the top of the list.
Oh, man, I can make some chicken and dumplings that'll make you slap your mama. Oh, yeah.
That's probably my favorite dinner of all time. And then comes Thanksgiving and turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And you never turn away from a filet mignon being cooked, but somehow chicken and turkey get in front of the filet.
Yeah, a good turkey. I've got a recipe that I do on the smoker that with the rub that I use, it turns out almost red, and I call it a Georgia Redbird.
I had a neighbor that did that. I've never tried that. He brought me a half the turkey. He was kidding with me one day, and he said, "Have you ever had a smoked turkey?" I said, "No." "You never tasted one?" I said, "No." He's from down here someplace in the woods, the backwoods where they cook everything outdoors. And he said, "Well, I'm going to smoke one and I'll bring you half your turkey." I thought he was kidding. And then day before Thanksgiving, he comes to the door. He's got this package wrapped up. It's half a turkey smoked. And man, it was good. So if yours is better than that, I'd love to taste it.
Oh man, when you do one right, it's great. One thing I hate is I'm working this weekend, but my best friend out near Augusta is going to pick up 350-pound hogs.
Oh my goodness!
To put on the smoker tomorrow night, along with 6 briskets, and I've got to work, so I can't even go.
That's another one of my favorite times. I went. I had the pleasure of going to a very big cookout in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and they were cooking some hogs on the spill, whatever you call it, the rotisserie thing,
yeah.
but the big sucker.
Yep.
And man, talk about meat.
Yeah.
Tasty and delicious. That's the first time I've ever had one that was cooked that way.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had wild hog?
Well, no, I can't say that I have.
I have to get you some when you come down. Oh yeah, when you leave here, you'll be about 40 pounds heavier. So just be ready.
Yeah, I can gain weight and it's taken me a long time to shed 35 pounds. So I may void you for a while because my appetite's still there, but I'm kind of curbing the getting carried away with things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm the only guy that that show Naked and Afraid where they put them out in the middle of nowhere for 30 days and everybody on there loses like 25 or 30 pounds for that month. I'm the only guy that could come off of that show 20 pounds heavier.
That I would probably be that guy too. Sadly, I have an insatiable appetite that I get embarrassed sometimes. Yeah. I worked on a movie with a bunch of other people, and they had this incredible craft service, and man, but I put on the weight.
Oh man, I've only been in two movies. One of them, the first one I was in, I was just an extra, and we were the ambulance on standby when they were filming Fled, and it came lunchtime, and they told us that don't go in that tent and eat. That's for the extras and the crew. We want you to come over here and eat with the cast. So we did. Man, they asked how we liked our steak, and I said I like mine rare. And they just told me to pick mine out, and it's just a huge ribeye. I'm like, okay. So we'll cook it, and while you wait, go to that table. And I stood over this table eating these giant tiger prawns that were just cooked perfectly in the middle of a field. And it was so strange. But
yeah, well, you have the right caterer, and of course, if you're doing it with the right company,
Yeah.
studios have a habit of spoiling you, and it depends on who's in the cast. But
Yeah.
they have a tendency to really go way over the top on some things.
This
And,
one had Lawrence Fishburne, Stephen Baldwin, Will Patton, Ken Jenkins. I mean, it just had some good names in there, and
oh, no wonder you had good catering.
yeah, yeah. I think it was Michelina's that was doing the catering. I
Oh,
think that's who it
they're
was.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, love good ones.
Oh
There's some
yeah.
bad ones, but the good ones are really very special.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm looking forward to get her. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, I am too. It's going to be fun. We've picked out some spots. We found some locations in Rome. We're going to shoot a little bit of footage in Rome,
Hmm.
and we've got uh, a very interesting cast lined up so far. Uh, so we won't finish our casting until we announce our start date. And of course, the virus has kind of put us on in a back burner for a little bit of time. But
Hmm.
um, all said and done, I think we're getting close. I hope the virus is lifting at least to the danger where you feel like it's safe to do things.
Oh,
Um,
I hope so.
yeah, I do too. And it's kind of held us back doing anything. We're gonna do another Quigley movie right before the virus broke out, and I thought, but took care of that real quick.
Yeah.
So in our downtime, we come along with Get Her, and then we created a series based on a novel. I wrote a series of novels called Ghost and Phantoms,
Hmm.
which are Raleigh Kemp mysteries, and it's all about organized crime and uh, kind of a unique, different kind of a twist on organized crime, where uh, one of the families, the Godfather's daughter, gets killed, and he wants to find out who killed her. And really is no police force within the mob of the various families. And we created a series around that called Ghost and Phantoms.
Hmm.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That will also star Alessandro,
Yep.
um, and that'll create an interesting cast and um, also an interesting market because it's of the nature of the project. But Get Her is uniquely different. It deals with in a pretty open way about human trafficking. Covers a lot of stuff about the evil of human trafficking and how unaware people are, how easy it is to get snagged off the street, um, how people need to be a little more aware of their children going out by themselves to do something, and how easy it is for them to be just taken off the street corner.
Yeah.
So we cross a bridge with it, and yet we deal with it in a very unique way.
Hmm.
And it's designed to, if there's a blessing on the picture and it's successful, we'll probably follow it up with a sequel
Hmm.
or a potential series in itself because it's the nature of the project is kind of interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, the human trafficking just terrifies me because I've got two daughters, 17 and 19, and
Oh,
they're not under dad's thumb anymore like they were
no,
when they were smaller, and it
yeah,
scares the hell out of me.
oh, I bet it does. That's the whole problem is terrible things can happen and they happen so fast and so quick. Uh, we when I started doing research on it, it blew me away because I found there's like 50,000 people get taken in the United States alone every year,
Hmm.
uh, and the number is almost 1 million people taken worldwide, and that's yearly. Every year, these sickos grab these kids, and they're not just kids. Sometimes they're babies, sometimes they're young women, anywhere from 12 to 22 or three. They get over 22 or three, and then they're basically old. They're, they've been used, so to speak,
Hmm.
um, as sick as that is. But you have to put your mindset into another world to even try to understand what would motivate somebody to do such a thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do. We try to create a guy who is forced into doing something, um, and then in a set of circumstances, he changes everything and goes after the bad guy in a kind of an interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to grab some attention with it. Alessandro is a very special guy, and it'll be fun working with him.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
he's just got that aura about him. I don't know what it is, but he's just got it.
well, the irony of his background, I don't know if he went into his background with
Yeah,
you, but the man is a fascinating guy. He was a secret agent in Italy, served in the military. He trains police officers in the sheriff's department on self-defense and how to disarm a guy without killing him and without breaking his arms.
yeah,
And he's a ninth or 10th degree, whatever, and he's like this lethal weapon. He's a marksman with both a pistol and a rifle. Um, he's been there and done all that, and yet you meet him, and he's just the nicest, sweetest human being. Um, it's hard to believe when you meet him
yeah,
that he has the past that he has. He wasn't hardened and he wasn't changed by all the things he saw and did, which makes it very special in my heart, because I've had a lot of friends in the in the real world of law enforcement. My background has been as a child, I grew up in a kind of a organized crime family, and so it was a mixture, and I didn't want any part of what they did as a family, and I came to Hollywood to basically be an actor and get away from everything.
mm-hmm.
And when I came out, one of my dearest best friends that I met along the way was the undercover agent, FBI agent, for the French Connection, and he was just the neatest guy in the world, and we became fast friends. And from him, I went to retired law enforcement conventions and met some of the dangest characters I've ever met in my life. So my background's been very colorful along the way, and I use most of it as I can when I write. Because I've certainly met an interesting bunch of people over my lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the neat thing about Alejandro is, or Alessandro, I don't know why I call him Alessandro,
Yeah.
is, he's the real deal, because I've known a lot of operators over my time. I've done a lot of different things in my life, and, I've never been a sealer, an operator, or anything like that. Never claimed to be, because, stolen valor is my pet peeve. It's just crap. But I've known a lot of people who are bona fide, and you can always tell somebody that's making it up or whatever, because you see so many people now, they think if they have a big beard and big arms and they talk the talk, then you'll believe them.
Yeah.
And my experience, if somebody sits and talks about it voluntarily and just brings it up, yeah, they didn't do that.
No, in most cases, that's very true. John Ripa, the fellow I was talking about in the French Connection,
Mm-hmm.
he would literally, and I mean this in the truest sense of the word, he'd take his shirt off and give it to somebody or lay it down so a woman could cross a puddle.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. When he got Lou Gehrig's disease, and unfortunately he's gone from us, but he was never bragged about anything.
Yeah.
And his lifetime was like Alessandro's. It was incredible, his background.
Yeah.
He was an FBI agent undercover. He got shot 4 times and left for dead. And people just look at that and go, yeah, sure he was. Well, when he took his shirt off and you see 4 bullet holes, the guy's telling you the truth.
Yeah.
but he's the kind of guy that when you'd almost have to get the shirt off of him to see it, because he'd never brag about it or talk about it. And Alessandro is like that.
Yeah.
He has this wonderful background, but you have to kind of push him to tell you about it.
Yeah.
And you have to ask questions about it. And then when he tells you, your mind goes, did this really happen? And you look at him and go, yeah, it probably did, because he just, there's no bravado about it. He doesn't brag about anything he's ever done.
Yeah.
He just it's like a fact. I went to lunch today and had a sandwich. That's how he talks about. Yeah, I went out and we had some bad guys and we took them down. And it's the way he says it. It's like, what?
Exactly.
You did what? Yeah, and that's the best. That's the fun part of listening to him and talking to him. He's a charming guy, and I hope my instincts are correct because I think he'll be a star.
I think they are. I honestly think they are because he is so awesome. And with get her, if there's anything at all I can do is support, all you gotta do is let me know. Because if
Well,
it allows you to educate, I will do anything I can to help support.
we appreciate that, and we will call upon you if we need any kind of help or publicity or anything else. I'd actually like to have you come on down to the set when we're shooting and
Mm-hmm.
just hang out for a bit and just participate a little bit.
Y'all gonna be shooting here in Georgia?
We are.
Oh yes.
We're going to shoot the whole thing in Georgia except for a week in Rome.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding, outstanding. Yeah, and that could be a very real possibility.
Well, we'll push that button when the time gets here. I'm sure we're going to talk before then, but
Oh,
welcome on the set. Welcome to go down and say hello. Who knows? Maybe even participate.
hey,
Maybe we'll make you one of the bad guys or something.
you never know.
We'll get you into trouble.
Hey,
good kind of trouble.
there you go. There you go. Well, I tell you, man, I've had a blast today, and you're welcome on here anytime.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate
Yeah,
you chatting. And it's been fun.
yeah, most
Look forward
definitely.
to it. Hopefully, we'll do it again.
We definitely will.